Yo. I don't know why I just did all those camera angles. So, the swap showed up, or the new swap showed up. Let's check it out. So, making this video just to kind of get some things out of the way so that when I start the swap video, I'll already kind of be into it, as to where the other videos I'll start the video off showing you the car, showing you the old engine transmission in it, showing things, talking about it, blah, blah, blah. Figured I'd get it out of the way. Maybe I'll start doing it to where I just get that part out of the way in a video before I start the swap. And then the actual swap video starts with the swap. But as you can tell, it is a Cuda. A Cuda. Camaro. 69 Camaro. Super nice. I didn't have to say that to tell you that it was super nice, because it's obviously super nice. Hands down, one of the nicest cars I've ever put my hands on. It scares me. It worries me. Because I'm so used to vehicles. Well, not so much this one, but when I work on this one, I just throw parts on the fenders, on the roof, on the quarters, and I don't worry about nicks and dents and scratches, because you literally can't make it any worse than it already is. As where this, one scratch and it stands out like sore thumb. So I'm gonna be extra. I'm careful with anybody's vehicle that brings it to me, but obviously not all the vehicles that are brought to me are nice and shiny and very, very nice like this. It's probably harder to tell in video than it is in person. It probably looks better in person than it does on video, but it is nice. It's sleek. He told me he only paid $2,500 for this paint job. And I think he got far more than his money's worth, because it is nice. It used to be blue, and you would never know. But just another 69 Camaro. He actually saw my YouTube video on the last 69 Camaro I did, and that is why he brought it to me, because he knew that I've already done one of these. So everything I did to that other Camaro, I'm doing to this one, except I'm not doing front suspension. Well, I'm not doing control arms and disc brake kit. This already has front disc, power disc. I will be doing the same front coilovers I put on the last Camaro, and I will be putting in AC. This is a non-factory AC car. We will be going with a vintage air kit this time, as where last time on the last Camaro hold on. Ow, come on. Did I get it? Okay, sorry. Looking at the sky and stuff. Okay. The last Camaro, I used the last Camaro, the vintage air kit. When he brought me the car, they were like 3 or 4 months out. So I went with a company in Fort Worth, Texas called Old Air Products. And we'll see how this vintage air kit goes, but I think the vintage air kit's going to be a much easier but a much easier kit to put in than that other one was. I don't want to talk bad about the other one, because it wasn't like it was 100% their fault. I had never done one before that, so I was learning, and their instructions were a little iffy. And anyways, so vintage air on this one, because they're only a couple weeks out. This is getting the same exact LQ4 that the last Camaro got from O'Reilly's. It's getting a rebuilt, well, it has a rebuilt 4L60. Turn some lights on. Video quality just went up a little bit. We got most of the big parts out of the way. 4L60 rebuilt, trans cooler. We got accessory brackets. We got so on the Caprice I just did. Oh dang it! I hope I didn't get address in there. Yeah. Oh dang it! Did I get it right there? God. Pay attention, Anthony. Putting people's addresses on YouTube, but went with the BP Automotive harness, which you have only seen me do Amazon harnesses. That Caprice that I just had, that had a BP Automotive harness, and I liked that one specifically for engine bays that you want to look nicer. The Amazon harnesses, honestly, they don't look bad to me at all. This one just has a specific way or a specific type of loom on it that's nicer, and this guy hasn't messed with LS stuff before, so I mentioned the BP Automotive harness because it comes with little tabs on each sensor that tells you what that sensor is, in case he has the car and something's going on and he asks me and I say, look at the TPS sensor or the IAC sensor or the crank sensor or so on. He can just look at that tab on the harness and say, oh, okay, this is that sensor he's talking about. Let's look at that. I also like that harness just a tad bit better, solely because it has a single fuel pump wire that's already hooked up to the relay on the harness, to where all you got to do is hook that wire up to the fuel pump wire. You just connect them and that's it. As where the Amazon harness, as you've seen me do on all the swaps, you have to pin the relay yourself, which isn't difficult. It's just one more wire that you have to run from the back to the front. But that harness makes it a tad bit easier. That one is more expensive though, and that one's $500 or $650, as to where the Amazon one is now they're only like $130 on Amazon. So big difference price wise, but a little bit better looking one. I guess you could say a little bit easier to work with, since it has the tags on it to tell you what's what and that fuel pump wire. But anyways, this has, he said it's a built 350, maybe 500 miles on it. It's got a Dart intake. It sounds good. There's nothing wrong with it how it is, but he wants something that he can drive that he can, well, more so he said his wife can drive it more than him, but something they can drive in the hot summertime of Texas with AC, and something that's reliable and doesn't overheat, something they can get in the left lane and just zoom down the highway with AC blowing and no worries about anything. Okay, so we're missing a upper control arm bolt. Yeah, bolt, no bolt. So okay, well, we'll have to get a bolt, but I'm gonna yank this out probably within the next 2 weeks. I'd really like to wait to yank it out until I have the engine, that way I can still move this around the driveway. So we'll see how I do that, but not much else to it. I guess I can give you guys some part numbers if I can stray away from giving you his address. We got the Amazon fuel line kit, just like all the other swaps. This is the PTF fuel line kit. We got these little transmission fittings. These go here, right there, those two. So grab those, and then I'll run the same PTF line AN fittings to the trans cooler. We got, there's just a cheap eBay radiator. You don't need to overspend on a radiator for an LS swap like you do old style engine, because the LS engines are much more efficient the way they're built internally when it comes to cooling. We got another So we got a really good deal on this LS1 intake. And I know everybody will say, why'd you go with the LS1 intake? It doesn't flow as good as blah, 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 blah. We're not building a race car, so that 5 extra horsepower you get from an LS6 intake compared to a LS1 intake isn't going to make much of a difference. Yes, I know it's more than 5 horsepower, but you see what I'm saying. Only paid $250 for this complete. I'm going to clean it up and paint it just like I did on the one on the Cuda. Good way to tell if it's LS6 or LS1 is 1. These numbers right here, those numbers right there, and most LS6s, I'd say like 99% of them, they don't have any EGR stuff. That's where LS1 did. But I think that's like 99 and later. But yeah, only $250 for that complete with injectors, rail. I see prices on eBay are like $500 for a complete LS1 intake. It's crazy. There's the brackets we're going with. We got the knockoff. Well, let me show you that one. Oh. Yeah, blocked it. Okay. Got no idea what this is. Wait, let me feel it. Oh. Guess that I could just open it, huh? Oh, it's the bracket for the overflow or the power steering reservoir. This is okay. So we got, what is this? Oh, is this the pulley? Shake it. Yep, I think it's the pulley. What is this? Shake it. No, that's pulley. It says it. What are you? Oh, who knows? And this is the power steering pump. What else we got? I'm gonna show you the oil pan. So I'm going with the knockoff Holley. Oh my goodness, I'm horrible at this. The knockoff Holley 302-2 oil pan. Comes with an oil pan gasket. I like these. One, because they're so cheap now. I would personally use this oil pan on every rear-wheel drive LS swap vehicle because they give you more clearance from the front of the oil pan to the sump. So your F body sump sits about here. This one gives you like an inch or two more clearance from there, so it stays out of the way of cross members and steering components and all that. And they're half the price of actual name brand Holley, which is made in China too. So don't see the difference. What else we got? We got Speed Engineering headers, the same exact ones I put on the last Camaro. This is probably mounts. Oh, there's the bracket, the ICT bracket. What is that? Oh, the mass airflow sensor. So we're running the 551-521X-3 brackets for power steering and alternator, and then we should have the AC bracket. We got an ICT AC bracket also, and I emailed them like last week asking what belt to use, and I haven't heard back from them, so I'm just gonna have to do some rope or something once I got it all on. Transcooler, the same transcooler I use on no, I didn't use it on the Vega, but transcooler I recommend for every single swap. This is well worth the $150 on Amazon. Absolutely great transcooler. Comes with an electric fan in case you want to mount it somewhere that's not in the front of the car and getting constant airflow. I've had it on this, said it a million times. I put it on the last Camaro. I can't even remember now what other swaps I put it on. I know I put them on other ones, but yeah, that's most of the parts. If you got any questions about parts, just ask me in the comments. I'm using the same mounts I mention every single time. I'm using these, except he bought a brand new set using these, and like I've said every time, but if you're new here, I'll try to reiterate that you take the motor mounts that are bolted to the frame right there. So that mount, not that mount, that mount. The mount that's mounted to the actual engine. You take that, you bolt it onto here. Back up. Bolt this to the LS engine. Take that bolt or that mount, bolt it to this, and you mount it right back onto those frame mounts. And that's it. I wonder if you got the transmission cross member. Went ahead and got the same transmission cross member. I don't think it's here because I could tell by the boxes that. Oh, is that it? Yep, this is it. This is the cross member. Got it from Summit. It's from CPP. For $200, I'd get it every time. It makes installing transmission much easier than using the factory one. It also brings the transmission and the back of the engine down a little bit so that these headers don't sit on the bottom of the floor pan. It lowers it a little bit, and those sit nice about an inch below the floor pan, so you can actually get your exhaust put on it. But that is really it. I just wanted to kind of get this all out of the way so that the next video we got of this, I'll have the engine pulled. I'll probably have that heater box taken off, have the hood off. I'm not sure if I'm going to pull the fender or if I'm just going to pull the fender well like I did the last time. I pulled the fender well. We'll see. We'll just see. But yeah, that's it for this one. Oh, this one's also going to help big time because the battery would originally be there, but it's in the trunk. So that'll give me a little bit more options for air intake, because once with those ICT, with the alternator and power steering pump, and then the radiator hose, it's kind of hard to get the air intake that way. So the battery not being there, that'll give me more options to run it this way. Just keep it away from the AC that's going to be sitting about right there. If you wanted to, you could run the factory radiator that you have if there's nothing wrong with it with an LS swap. I just mentioned to him, like, hey, I think aluminum ones, or even cheap aluminum ones, are better than old style radiators like this, no matter what. I was like, hey, it's like $200 for one with a electric fan and shroud, and he said, yeah, let's do that. So that's why we're doing that. But that is it. I don't think, just putting coilovers on the front, not changing out control arms or anything like I did the last one, not doing lowering springs like I did the last one. As long as the vintage air goes smooth, this won't take much. Oh, the Dakota Digital. I don't know. I can't remember if I mentioned that now, but yeah, this is getting the same Dakota Digital gauges that the last Camaro got too. It's basically getting everything the last Camaro got. Same exact thing. He saw that video and he's like, I want that. And that's what he's going to get. Oh, it's so nice though. It scares me so much. Oh, we're changing the shifter. So him and his wife don't like that shifter. Also, this is a factory 4-speed car, so it still has the third pedal, and then it still has the hole for the shifter. So I'm gonna see what I got to do to because the clutch pedal, you still have to push it in to start the car because that's still hooked up to the neutral safety switch or however that works. So I'm gonna have to disable that. I might pull the third pedal out. I'll ask him. We're for sure changing that shifter though. I should be able to do like I did the last Camaro, where I just take the stock exhaust, get an adapter piece, and mount and bolt it to the LS headers. It's getting the Holley retrofit in tank pump. That's pricey, but it is well worth it. It makes life so much easier fuel pump wise. I mean, you could spend the 500, 600, 700, whatever it is, for the aftermarket tank and the pump, but it is not necessary at all. Unless you're running some insane horsepower, it is not necessary to go through all that. Just get the Holley retrofit pump that goes in the tank, the factory tank, the same way the old sending unit does, and bolt it back up and run your lines and be done with it. But that is it. If you watched, I appreciate it. If you got any questions about parts and stuff, you can comment or go to my Facebook page, Krusty Classics Garage, and I can answer them there. I'm glad I got this out of the way because, to be honest, filming, being like, oh man, I gotta film, I forgot. And I just like to get to work and do stuff. So, like I said, next time you see it, no engine, transmission in it. Basically, it'll be ready for the swap, and I can start the video then. But appreciate y'all watching. I'll see y'all next time.